to have fun, you see. I got different hobbies, and that's all I need. Some say life is boring, but I disagree. I wake up and live my dream. Someday soon I'm gonna make it. Yeah, all hard work's gonna be worth it. Ooh, everyone who didn't believe it.
Well, I've arrived. I'm in the back of the van now. We're in Shropshire, so about a 4-hour journey from where I live down in the southeast of England. And yeah, it wasn't too bad actually. Left at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, which meant that the rush hour traffic was going to be at different times to when I was on the road. So the M25 wasn't too bad, and also the M40 wasn't too bad. So where am I? I'm up in a place called the Long Mynd, which is very close to a place called Shropshire. I've actually come up here for a couple of reasons. First of all, it's an incredibly beautiful place, so I'm looking forward to showing you a little bit of that tomorrow. I can't show you anything now because it's dark. It's about 5:30 in the evening, so completely dark. Doesn't matter if I put the camera outside, you won't see anything. We're close to a really nice little well, I guess river, but it's more of a waterfall, cascading river. And I've been here a few times before with the family, and I know my way around. So I thought that if the weather is rubbish tomorrow and it's cloudy and grey, then that's perfect for waterfalls and shutter speeds needed and required for catching water and motion and the different, I guess, results you can get from that. So we can do that. We'll probably do that anyway, irrespective of whether it's nice or cloudy. And I'm up in the hills, right? So we'll get up for sunrise and see if there's anything happening in terms of colour in the sky and compositions that we can get. So I've got some pasta on the go at the moment, but I thought what I'll quickly do is show you a little bit around the van, as it's going to be in the channel quite a lot. Thought why not just introduce you to the van. So this is a Volkswagen Transporter T6.1, so it's a 21 build, and then has been fully converted by a company called Platinum Wave Campers that are based just outside of Birmingham. So I'll put a link up to their website here. Great bunch of guys, really supportive through the process of putting together the build and keeping me informed about the progress of the van. The only other thing that I can't show you at the moment is the fact that we've got a pop-top roof. So this pops up, but it's quite windy outside, so I'm not gonna do that. But that means that just this evening I'm going to be kind of ducking and diving. But once that is up, then I won't need to duck under the roof because it's full head height, so you can walk around this space and not have to worry about, you know, hitting your head or anything like that, which is great. So yeah, that's kind of the van. It's going to be in a lot of the videos, which is great. Having this van is a game changer, really. Being able to, you know, go places and park up and you know, not have to worry about having to check into hotels and things like that is really great. So yeah, hope you enjoyed the mini tour. If there's any questions that anyone's got about, you know, the van, owning a camper van, or just generally any information that you want, then please reach out. I'm more than happy to let you know what I know. Essentially, I think one thing that I would say, you know, being 6 months in, is you start to notice things that you perhaps would do differently if you could do it again. And probably, and my wife will laugh when I say this, but I would advise anybody that's buying a camper van for the first time to not buy a brand new one, because you kind of learn what you learn as you go, and you learn that, you know, perhaps that you want a different setup, or maybe you want a different type of bed, or set of seats, whatever it is. You know, if you're buying brand new and you're buying you know, a fully converted van, then that isn't cheap. So I would, you know, if I could do it again, and certainly my advice to anyone would be, buy a second-hand van, enjoy it, learn how the van works for you, and then if and when you're ready to upgrade and get a newer one, then you'll already know the things that you really want and don't want. So yeah, that's my advice really, to not do what I do, not do what I did, sorry, which is buy a new van that was fully converted from the start. Nothing wrong with it, very, very fortunate to have been able to have done it, but there are certain things that you kind of think, I wish I'd have considered that, I wish I'd have done it this way, I wish I'd have bought that kind of accessory, and you just don't know what you don't know until you've been in one of these vans and you've spent nights in it and used it. So get second hand first, and then once you know what you like, then get yourself a new one.
Searching for something that ain't lost. Have we got our lines crossed? We're wasting time on stuff that doesn't really matter, while wishing for something better. I try to fix things that weren't broken, misunderstandings and words unspoken. We fall apart, and I won't dare to say, do you feel the same way? Maybe you don't wanna know, but you don't see what you have in front of you. Or maybe I'm not enough for you, so maybe I should go. If I had known from the start, this wouldn't have ended with broken hearts, 'cause I don't wanna waste my time. Same way, then don't pretend that everything's okay. Don't string me along the way you do. Just let me get over you. Maybe you don't wanna know, but you don't see what you have in front of you. Or maybe I'm not enough for you.
Well, I'm back in the van now after a couple of hours of walking around the hills here in the Long Mynd. Really enjoyed myself actually. I've been to the Long Mynd quite a few times because we've got a holiday cottage that our family come to on a fairly regular basis, not too far from here, and the Long Mynd is great for just getting out, getting some fresh air, getting the kids out for a walk and taking the dog for a walk. But we've never actually really been that too far away from the road that goes through here, so it was good to get myself off and take myself off up some of the hills that I've not been up. I think I actually went up the tallest one around here in the Long Mynd actually, because at the top there was a big pile of stones that was looking like a makeshift trig point. I did take a fair amount of video, which I think you will have already seen. I'll have already put together a little overview of that walk, and I did take some images. As I say, I didn't take any kind of I didn't put any commentary on it because it wouldn't have worked anyway. So the light is improving. The weather forecast for once was right, which was that it was going to start out pretty gloomy, but quite rapidly it would improve. I think if you look out the window now, you can see that the sun is coming through. There's still a lot of drama in the sky, which is great. Most of the images I took this morning were using the long lens, just trying to zoom in and get some compositions and some detail, but now I'm going to be focusing on the Carding Mill Valley, where we're going to be working on some work with moving water. So there is a fairly small waterfall here, but there's really a cascade of a river which moves over rocks, which kind of looks like a waterfall pretty much for a couple of miles, which is fantastic. So I've been there a few times, but what my aim is really for this part of the video is to talk you through some of the different techniques you can use in terms of capturing water, especially motion in water. I think that there are, you know, several different effects that you can achieve depending on the shutter speed that you use within photography. So I'm going to finish up my coffee, pack the van up, and then head down to the Carding Valley, and I'll pick up the video when we get there.
This is as good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin, beginning to thaw from within. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live.
So we've just made it to the Carding Valley. Quite pleased to be out of the wind, down now in the valley, so hopefully it won't be quite as windy and won't be quite as cold down here. Quite a lot of cars here. This is a National Trust place, so if you've got a National Trust membership, the parking is free. If you don't, it's I think £5 for all day, which is pretty good. So it doesn't look like there's a huge amount of water in the river at the moment, or the stream, whatever we're going to call it, but there's certainly going to be enough for us to be able to get some images. So I'm going to head out now.
All that ever was is a rise. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good.
We arrived at our first composition here. Apologies for the noise, but obviously the more motion we get in water, the more noise that we get. But essentially I've set myself up with my first composition here, just really to demonstrate and talk a little bit about some of the things that you can be aware of when you're aiming to capture motion within water. So one of the things that most photographers make the mistake of, and I certainly did when I first started, was thinking that you immediately need to buy some sort of 10-stop filter and have the water being recorded on the shutter for 30 seconds to make this really creamy effect. That really isn't the case, and actually I think as you do more of this, you'll realise actually that although can be a nice effect generally when you're taking pictures of the ocean, in rivers you like to have a little bit more of the sort of structure to the water really. So yes, you get that kind of nice effect that you get with water when you shut it down and you slow it down a little bit, but certainly you don't want to have the water so it's just a great big white pasty mess. So really one of the most important things I think when it comes to thinking about shooting water is to have what you call a polarizing filter, so a circular polarizer. You're probably not going to be able to see it on my camera, but essentially what a polarizer does is it gives you the opportunity to take away some of the glare that you'll get as a result of the sun on your image, and the effect will be determined by the amount that you move and twist that circular polarizer around. So essentially there's two effects that you can get, and maybe I'll try and show you if I can in the screen here. Not sure how. No, that's not going to work. What I'll do because that isn't going to work, is I will take two shots, one with the polarizer at minimum and one with the polarizer at maximum, and I'll show you the difference. So that's the first composition in the bag. Not particularly strong composition, I appreciate that, but what it did do is give me a chance to talk through the difference between having your circular polarizer at full strength versus having it at minimum. So what we're going to do now is we're going to wander up the river, see if we can find some more compositions, and yeah, I'll show you what we get. This really is a great place to bring kids if you've got kids, although if you're going to make your way up to the actual main waterfall itself, then there are some scrambles that you have to be aware of, especially if it's going to be or has been raining or wet, then it could be a little bit slippery for kids. But yeah, there's loads of places down near the car park and near the shop where the water's so shallow that the kids just get in there and paddle and love it, especially in the summer where they just take their shoes and socks off and have a great time. So if you haven't checked it out and are ever in the area, very near to Church Stretton in Shropshire, then I definitely recommend you you come and check this out. It's a great day out, whether you've got kids or not. So the first shot we're going to take, the screen's going to be too bright, so what I'll do is once I've talked through this, I'll put an image up just to show you the outcome of what we're just doing here. But essentially what we're doing is we're going for a slightly longer shutter speed now. So we're going at f16, which condenses and closes down the shutter to let in less light. We've got our ISO on low, which is going to give us the least amount of artificial or digital light as part of the image. And we're shooting for 1 second. So what that's hopefully going to do is going to give us the right amount of motion in the water, but not too much, so that it just becomes a mess. So let's take the shot. Okay, so I hope you like the result of that one. Now what we're going to do is increase the shutter speed so we can freeze a little bit more of that motion. So in order to do that, what we've got to do is play a little bit with the settings in terms of your aperture, your shutter speed and the ISO. So what I've done is try to get myself a shutter speed of 1/100th of a second, and in order to do that I've had to increase the ISO up to 1250, and we're going with f5.6. So let's take an image now, and I will now show you the result on screen, and hopefully you can see the difference and how you can achieve a couple of the different sort of effects with water depending on what you do with the shutter speed. So we're back in the van. Apologies, but the battery on my Osmo ran out when I was up near the waterfall, so although I was intending to finish the video up there, unfortunately I wasn't able to because my battery ran out. So no bother really, just walked back down to the van, had a little bit of something to eat while the battery's on this charged, and now I can think about ending the video. So yeah, what can I say? Great 24 hours really. You know, it seems like I've been up here longer, but I haven't. Really enjoyed coming up here, really enjoyed this morning. Not quite the usual sunrise and things that I'm, you know, kind of used to capturing and people usually probably expecting me to capture, but I really enjoyed the drama in the sky this morning, and it was great to get out and walk over some of the hills that I've not actually done before, so I really enjoyed that. And then coming up here to the Cardingmill Valley, which is a fantastic National Trust property, immaculately kept, beautiful stream that goes right up to the waterfall, which is very child friendly, very shallow, and lots of families come here, and we've brought our family here before, and the kids have a great time. So yeah, thank you very much if you've stuck through the video all this way. It's probably a bit of a longer video than my first video. and I hope some of the tips and things that I've included as part of this sort of second part of the video around moving water and waterfall photography have been helpful. If you've got any questions, then please just let me know. I'm more than happy to answer any questions that anybody's got to the best of my ability. I guess the one thing to say is that, you know, although I've got now quite a number of years of experience with photography, I still don't know everything. So, you know, some of the things that I will talk about in my videos may or may not, people may or may not agree with them. That doesn't really matter. Photography to me is very subjective, and it really is about kind of what the person really enjoys and likes. So you're going to see a lot of what I enjoy and like, and the tips that I give are some of the things that I find helpful. You may or may not find them helpful, but I'll give them to you anyway, and you can do with them as you wish. Anyway, thank you very much for sticking through the video this long. If you've enjoyed it, then please consider giving it a like. It really does help. And if you've enjoyed this video and you've watched the first one and you like kind of the direction we're going in, then please consider subscribing to the channel. It really is going to make a difference. And yeah, I'm hoping to get a video out every week if I can. Next week I'm not sure, because I've got a couple of things planned in terms of trips that might take a little bit longer to pull everything together, and we'll probably need several different vlogs, because I don't really want to create content that's far too long for people to watch. So yeah, thank you very much for being with me today, and look forward to seeing you in the next video. Goodbye.